It's an amazing day and the sky is calling, so let's go flying. Hi, this is Dan. We're aboard Cardinal 220 over the citrus groves of the West Las Posas Valley. We departed Camarillo a few minutes ago, and now we're on our way to Hesperia, out in the high desert of San Bernardino County. It's an hour flight out for me, but you get to see select bits of the round trip in about 5 minutes. From Camarillo, Hesperia is at the far east end of the San Gabriel Mountains, about 90 miles away. The San Gabriels line up almost exactly with the direct route. We could fly directly over them, except it makes more sense to go a little around them rather than over them. We got a pretty good rain the other day, and even a tornado warning to go with it. The storm left a layer of cool and cloudy air on the ocean side of the mountains. We've been climbing through breaks in the clouds into the clear air above. There will be a broken deck below for a few miles, but that clears out as we approach the desert side of the mountains, and we'll end up cruising eastbound at around 6,000 feet. We're on the north side of the San Gabriels now. Looking across the range, the dark peaks include Mount Wilson, which overlooks the cities of the Los Angeles basin below. The San Gabriels are a thin range, no more than 2 or 3 significant ridgelines thick. But they're high and very rugged, and pretty much wall off the coastal plain to the south from the desert to the north for many miles. We're eastbound at 6,000 feet between Santa Clarita and Acton. We're roughly following Sand Canyon. The area is a geologic jumble of pink sandstone and red-hued ancient volcanics. The San Gabriels separate a desert from a semi-desert, so it only makes sense that they're largely arid themselves. Much of the range is thinly covered in dry and fire-prone chaparral that thins out further as the mountains descend into the desert. Little Rock Reservoir catches the runoff from this myriad of canyons for the benefit of the residents of Palmdale. We're moving along at 133 knots and have about 16 minutes to go. We don't need to descend much for the traffic pattern at Hesperia. On this side of the mountains, the desert's at more than 3,000 feet. The traffic pattern at Hesperia is about 4,400 feet. Those distinctly tilted and shattered rock formations are the Devil's Punchbowl natural area, just south of Pearblossom. There were once level layers of sandstone that have since been squeezed and tilted steeply by the San Andreas Fault, which runs right through here, as well as other local faults. The first snow of the season tops Mount Baldy and the ski slopes of Mountain High Resort. 15 minutes on and we've arrived at Hesperia. The airport's a community in itself, with taxi and homes, businesses, and the Don Reyes Airport Café. The Don Reyes has become a favorite of mine. The food's good, the service is friendly and quick, and most importantly, the cafe is open all afternoon, so I don't need to be in a rush to get there. Lunch was great, and now we're aloft again and wandering around southeast of the airport. I'm surprised by the amount of development I see. Desert wilderness has quickly become suburbs of the cities on the downhill side of the nearby Cajon Pass. I've been curious about the valley southeast of Hesperia. The canyons here seem to channel the watershed the wrong way, out into the desert instead of down the hill to San Bernardino. The water that flows out of the mountains here becomes the Mojave River, such as it is. You see, for large stretches of the Mojave, the river flows underground and never reaches the sea. Much of the Mojave's water is impounded here at Silverwood Lake. I've seen the lake from afar many times, especially on the way home from Big Bear, but now I have a chance to take a close look at it. Like nearby Lake Arrowhead, Silverwood's not a natural lake, and it's actually a reservoir formed by a large dam. It's also a major recreational area for boating, water skiing, fishing, and hiking. It's 30 minutes later, and we're halfway back to Camarillo. As we get closer to the ocean side of the mountains, the cloud deck appears to be getting more solid. Though there's advantages to staying on top, I've opted to duck under the deck rather than rely on finding a decent opening closer to home. We're near Acton, and below there's a bluff of volcanic rock. That's not common in this neighborhood, and it actually may have been transported from far away. We're not far from the San Andreas Fault, and it does things like that. The nearby Neenok volcano was split by the fault, and the rest of it is 250 miles north of here. "10 minutes from home now, and we'll be arriving just before sunset. This afternoon of flying and exploring has made a very satisfying day, as it almost always does. Thanks for coming along, and I hope you've enjoyed this adventure too.